Right, let's head on over to the Democratic Republic of Congo now. It's been a contentious time since the elections this year, one of the country's largest. It looks like Felix Tshisekedi will be sworn in as president, replacing Joseph Kabila. However, opposition rival Martin Fayulu, SADC and the African Union have said they are not buying it. I'm joined in studio this evening for more on this by Jean Boissa, Africa analyst. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, madame.
Ça va?
Oui, ça va, merci et vous?
Ça va très bien.
Oh, parfait.
Let's start with perhaps painting a picture of what life is like for the ordinary Congolese at this moment. Have you had a chance to speak to people in the Congo? What is the situation like?
Well, I guess that within one night we're not going to change many things in the Congo, but there's hope, and I could tell you that there are 3 or 4 members of the diaspora that have already traveled to Congo since yesterday, and some arrived today. Some are still planning to go so that they could participate in the sworn in of Felix Tshisekedi. So life is going to change for the simple fact that for the first time in 59 years, we're going to have a handover of power in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but not only in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the entire central region of Africa, because most of the presidents there have been holding to power for some for 40 years, some for 30 years. And Joseph Kabila came in 18 years ago, and I was not calling him president, but today I'm calling him president. Is at 48 years old going to relinquish power and go and become a member of the Senate. So we hope that that life will improve, but we still wait and see what is going to happen and unfold.
You speak of a handover of power. Will it be a peaceful handover of power?
We are calling all the political leaders, and that I'm saying each and every time, because even in South Africa, you had the same tension when apartheid ended in the 90s. So people were fearing that there would be trouble. There's a time where we need to ponder and reflect about what we want for Africa. And this is the time. There might have been irregularities, but it is all human nature. And the people that are contesting, it is also a call that we are making, Martin Fayulu and the rest, the Catholic, to tell them that let's give him a chance for the next 5 years and see what he can come about with for the Congolese people, the citizens that have suffered for the past 20 years, if we only speak about Kabila. But since 1960s, we've been suffering. Most of the people have been in exile or have been displaced either internally or outside of the country. We want to give the time to those people to return to the country or to return to their home if it was internally. But what is important for us is to pave the way for peace. And we can only but hope and ask people to love one another and to love the country, because it has been for so long.
Let's talk about those who have been displaced by what has been happening, or a lack of commitment from leaders to change the situation in the Congo. Some we find are living in South Africa. What are conditions like for those people?
Well, the conditions here in South Africa are very dire, and it is important. If you go around Yeovil, you go around Rosentanville, you go anywhere in South Africa, you will see that some of the children, and I always speak, as an educator, I always speak about the children, because that's the future for tomorrow. And there are children that are not studying, just for the mere fact that they don't have a birth certificate, some of them. And some also are not recognized by the embassy. Some don't have the means to go to school because they don't have a proper job. There's promiscuity. You will find people that are living 6, 7 in the same room. And these are unacceptable for our Ubuntu and our African traditions, living with a child that is 15, 16 years old. People don't want to talk about that because they find it's a taboo. But it is not a taboo to speak about the truth. And it is important that we change that narrative of the Congolese people. In the Congo, that is the same. You will say a 40-year not a child, but an old man who's living under the roof of his parents. And this is very tragic, and it is painful because there's no job. The leaders haven't created job. If you go into the eastern side, and possibly that is one of the reasons for which President Kagame could not make the trip, because people are resentful of the visit of Kagame, who claim to take the refugees from African refugees from Israel, but he has got refugees that are based in the Congo that have been creating havoc for the past 20 years, and he doesn't take them back in Rwanda. So these are the issues we are facing as Congolese, and one of the critical issues that I'm calling here the leaders of Africa is to be able to help the Congo for the first time to get a census of the Congolese people, because people say 80 million. But are we really 80 million? The last census was in 1984. We don't have a proper identification of the citizens of the Congo. You do have. Wherever you go, they will say, where's your ID? Even if the traffic cop arrests you, they will ask for your ID. In the Congo, that does not exist. The only thing that exists to recognize, to identify with the Congolese, it's that electoral vote cards. And it is not a proper identification. So these are the issues that we need to unearth and be able to implement. So we are calling to His Excellency President Felix Tshisekedi, elect. So when he's sworn in, there's a lot of work to do. It's not just corruption here and everything. It's so pathetic that we need to change the Congo and Africa.
And that's where we leave it. Monsieur Jean Bossa, merci beaucoup.